Welcome to the Explainer! Today we're doing a complete step-by-step walkthrough on how to crochet the gorgeous figure-sculpting Tierra lace midi dress. Whether you're looking to make a massive statement piece for your wardrobe, or you just want to elevate your crochet skills, this wearable garment is the perfect project to tackle.
Okay, let's dive right into this beautiful design by Loomelle Design. When you first look at this dress, with that sharply sculpted lace waist and the elegant ruching draped across the skirt, it really looks like a complex, unattainable designer piece. But here is the amazing secret. It's entirely accessible for an intermediate beginner. If you're comfortable with basic stitches, joining in the round, and just keeping an eye on your stitch counts, you absolutely have the skills to create this.
To completely demystify the construction process, we're breaking this explainer down into 6 manageable phases: getting started in materials, crocheting the bodice, the lace waist panel, the ruched midi skirt, edging and borders, and assembly and finishing touches.
Part 1. Getting started and materials. Setting yourself up with the right tools is half the battle. So, grab your hooks. You'll actually need 2 different sizes for this dress: a 3.5mm for the fitted bodice and lace, and a slightly larger 3.75mm to give the skirt its beautiful drape. You'll also want to pick up your favorite sport weight cotton blend yarn. You're going to need somewhere between 1,400 and 2,000 yards, depending on your specific size. Choosing a cotton acrylic blend or 100% mercerized cotton is highly recommended to ensure your dress has excellent stretch and drape without losing its shape over time. Oh, and definitely keep a handful of stitch markers nearby.
Let's quickly review the basic stitches used in the pattern. Notice how familiar these are. You've got your standard single crochet for the foundation, an increase where you just work 2 single crochets into the same stitch, and a decrease where you seamlessly pull 2 stitches together. We'll also use slip stitches for joining our rounds. The absolute genius of this design is that it relies on keeping these foundational stitches super simple. We aren't doing any wild, complex gymnastics with our hooks here. We are just using the basics in incredibly smart ways so we can focus entirely on shaping the silhouette.
Now here is a crucial point: your gauge. You really must create a practice swatch using your 3.5mm hook. Basically, 18 single crochets across by 22 rows up should equal exactly a 4 by 4 inch square. Look, I know gauge swatches feel like the vegetables of the crochet world, and we all want to skip straight to dessert and start the dress. But please do not skip this, because this is a fitted garment. A very common mistake is having a tension that's even a fraction of an inch off. That tiny difference multiplies over hundreds of stitches, and your final dress simply won't fit. So adjust your hook size up or down until that 4 by 4 square is completely perfect. Part 2. Crocheting the bodice. We are going to work this section entirely from the top down. This breakdown shows how simple spiral single crochets form a seamless, dense fabric that looks great. If you're making the small or medium size, you'll start with a chain of 104, joining it into a ring. After working a few initial rounds, you'll use your stitch markers to mark 4 raglan points. Between rounds 10 and 14, you'll increase at these 4 points to expand the chest area. Then, the real magic happens at round 15. You'll chain 4 at the underarms, skip the sleeve stitches entirely, and just like that, you'll see the cap sleeves separate from the main body of the dress right in your hands. From there, you just work your way down the torso. Around round 21, you'll taper the waist inwards by running a decrease round. Now listen closely, because this is a major checkpoint. You need exactly 80 stitches after this decrease if you're making the small or medium size. You'll hold this 80 stitch count for a few more rounds. If you don't have exactly 80 stitches, the complex math of the upcoming lace panel simply will not work, and you'll end up frustrated. So count them twice. Part 3. The lace waist panel. This section really shows how you can create a stunning focal point and show just a hint of skin without relying on overly complex techniques. The diamond lattice is exactly 10 rounds deep. It uses shells and central clusters to carve out a beautiful defined waistline. And because 80 divides perfectly into our 10-stitch pattern repeat, you get 8 flawless diamond motifs wrapping evenly around your body. By following these rounds sequentially, you'll literally see the gorgeous diamond lattice magically appear. First, you build a foundation, essentially drawing the bottom V of the diamond using shells and chain spaces. Then, round 29 is the showstopper. You drop in a beautiful 3 double crochet cluster right in the very center. Finally, you work the mirror image of your foundation rounds, literally just working rounds 26 through 28 in reverse order to close up the top of the diamond. It's so incredibly satisfying to watch that web-like structure take clear shape.
After closing the diamond, you'll do a transition round to bring your stitch count firmly back to 80 solid single crochets. Then comes round 34. This round uses back loop only single crochets to build a crisp ridge that visually separates the lace from the skirt. Stop right here. Lay your dress flat on a table to ensure this ridge is perfectly aligned and totally horizontal. A very common mistake is letting this ridge get crooked or twisted. If it's wonky, now is the time to unravel a bit and fix it before you commit to the entirety of the skirt.
Part 4. The ruched Midi skirt.
This is where the dress gets its high fashion look. Short row ruching might sound like a really intimidating advanced technique, but honestly, it is so straightforward. You are literally just adding 9 extra back and forth rows onto the right front panel of the skirt and then slip stitching them together. That's the whole secret.
First things first, remember to switch to your larger 3.75mm hook to give the skirt that lovely drape and increase your stitches to accommodate the hips. You'll work evenly down the skirt, and when you're ready for the ruching, you just mark off 40 stitches on the right front side. You crochet back and forth across just those 40 stitches for 9 rows. Then you go back to crocheting in the round, and when you hit that thick section of extra rows, you just draw a single slip stitch up through 3 rows at a time to gather them tightly. Don't panic if it looks a bit bunched or strange at first. As you continue down to the hem, the weight of the extra fabric will naturally drape into that gorgeous diagonal fold.
Part 5. Edging and borders.
Okay, our dress is basically fully formed now, but a raw edge just won't do. By round 82, we'll be using tiny picots along a beautiful scalloped border to elevate the garment to absolute designer quality. At the bottom of the skirt, you'll transition into a pretty lace band, finishing it off with a 5 double crochet scallop fan. Along the edge of that fan, you drop in these little picots, which are just simple chain 3 loops that make the hem look incredibly intricate and delicate.
Moving up to the top, you'll rejoin your yarn to address the 8-inch back opening and the neckline. A round of single crochet followed by a round of slip stitches creates this fantastic, firm, rolled-in edge. It's structural and pristine. You'll finish the back slit by single crocheting down the sides and adding 3 simple chain 3 button loops. These simple borders ensure they lie completely flat against the body, making the top of your dress look just as meticulously crafted as that picot lace hem.
Part 6. Assembly and finishing touches. We are at the final stage, turning our completed crochet fabric into a true wearable masterpiece. Here is a pro tip that is completely non-negotiable for this project: blocking. When you finish crocheting, the lace will likely look a bit scrunched and, frankly, unimpressive. To fix this, give the dress a 20-minute cool bath with a gentle wash. Squeeze the water out gently in a towel. Do not ever wring it out. Lay it flat on your blocking mats. You want to take your rust-proof pins and aggressively pin out that waist panel. Pinning the lace open will completely transform it from a crumpled web into those crisp, sharply sculpted diamonds we saw at the beginning. Let it dry fully for up to 24 hours.
Once it's dry, you can stop there, or you can add some serious flair. The pattern suggests some fantastic ways to personalize your work. Threading a thick satin ribbon through the neckline ridge makes for a gorgeous bow detail. You could sew tiny seed beads to the pickets on the hem for some extra weight and sparkle, or even stitch in a cotton jersey half slip if you want full coverage. These optional little finishing touches will make the dress uniquely yours.
Whether you stick to a warm chestnut brown or go bold with a striking white, this design is guaranteed to turn heads. But it raises a bigger question. Once you realize you can craft designer quality, custom-fit garments with your own 2 hands, how will that change the way you view fashion? Grab your hooks, check that gauge, and I'll see you in the next explainer.